Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
End of the World, Volume 9, Book 88, Number 170,250. Volume 9, Book 88, Number 170. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. A man came to Allah's apostle and said, I saw in a dream a cloud having shade. Butter and honey were dropping from it, and I saw the people gathering it in their hands, some gathering much and some a little. And behold, there was a rope extending from the earth to the sky, and I saw that you, the Prophet, held it and went up, and then another man held it and went up, and, after that, another, third, held it and went up, and then after another, fourth, man held it, but it broke and then got connected again. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Apostle, let my father be sacrificed for you. Allow me to interpret this dream. The Prophet said to him, interpret it. Abu Bakr said, the cloud with shade symbolizes Islam, and the butter and honey dropping from it symbolizes the Quran, its sweetness dropping, and some people learning much of the Quran and some a little. The rope which is extended from the sky to the earth is the truth which you, the Prophet, are following. You follow it and Allah will raise you high with it, and then another man will follow it and will rise up with it, and another person will follow it, and then another man will follow it, but it will break and then it will be connected for him and he will rise up with it. O Allah's Apostle, let my father be sacrificed for you. Am I right or wrong? The Prophet replied, you are right in some of it and wrong in some. Abu Bakr said, O Allah's Prophet, by Allah, you must tell me in what I was wrong. The Prophet said, do not swear. Volume 9, Book 88, Number 171. Narrated by Samurah bin Jundub. Allah's Apostle very often used to ask his companions, did any one of you see a dream? So dreams would be narrated to him by those whom Allah wished to tell. One morning the Prophet said, last night 2 persons came to me, in a dream, and woke me up and said to me, proceed. I set out with them and we came across a man lying down, and behold, another man was standing over his head, holding a big rock. Behold, he was throwing the rock at the man's head, injuring it. The rock rolled away and the thrower followed it and took it back. By the time he reached the man, his head returned to the normal state. The thrower then did the same as he had done before. I said to my 2 companions, Subhanallah, who are these 2 persons? They said, proceed. So we proceeded and came to a man lying flat on his back and another man standing over his head with an iron hook, and behold, he would put the hook in one side of the man's mouth and tear off that side of his face to the back of the neck, and similarly tear his nose from front to back and his eye from front to back. Then he turned to the other side of the man's face and did just as he had done with the other side. He hardly completed this side when the other side returned to its normal state. Then he returned to it to repeat what he had done before. I said to my 2 companions, Subhanallah, who are these 2 persons? They said to me, proceed. So we proceeded and came across something like a tanner, a kind of baking oven, a pit usually clay-lined for baking bread. I think the Prophet said, in that oven here was much noise and voices. The Prophet added, we looked into it and found naked men and women, and behold, a flame of fire was reaching to them from underneath, and when it reached them, they cried loudly. I asked them, "Who are these?" They said to me, "Proceed." And so we proceeded and came across a river. I think he said, "Red like blood." The Prophet added, "And behold, in the river there was a man swimming, and on the bank there was a man who had collected many stones. Behold." While the other man was swimming, he went near him. The former opened his mouth and the latter, on the bank, threw a stone into his mouth, whereupon he went swimming again. He returned, and every time the performance was repeated, I asked my two companions, "Who are these two persons?" They replied, "Proceed, proceed," and we proceeded till we came to a man with a repulsive appearance, the most repulsive appearance you ever saw a man having. Beside him there was a fire, and he was kindling it and running around it. I asked my companions, "Who is this man?" They said to me, "Proceed, proceed." So we proceeded till we reached a garden of deep green dense vegetation, having all sorts of spring colors. In the midst of the garden there was a very tall man, and I could hardly see his head because of his great height, and around him there were children in such a large number as I have never seen. I said to my companions, "Who is this?" They replied, "Proceed, proceed." So we proceeded till we came to a majestic huge garden, greater and better than I have ever seen. My two companions said to me, "Go up," and I went up. The Prophet added, "So we ascended till we reached a city built of gold and silver bricks, and we went to its gate and asked the gatekeeper to open the gate, and it was opened, and we entered the city and found in it men with one side of their bodies as handsome as the handsomest person you have ever seen, and the other side as ugly as the ugliest person you have ever seen." My two companions ordered those men to throw themselves into the river. Behold, there was a river flowing across the city, and its water was like milk in whiteness. Those men went and threw themselves in it, and then returned to us after the ugliness of their bodies had disappeared, and they became in the best shape. The Prophet further added, "My two companions, angels, said to me, 'This place is the Eden paradise, and that is your place.' I raised up my sight, and behold, there I saw a palace like a white cloud. My two companions said to me, 'That palace is your place.' I said to them, 'May Allah bless you both. Let me enter it.' They replied, 'As for now, you will not enter it, but you shall enter it one day.' I said to them, 'I have seen many wonders tonight. What does all that mean which I have seen?' They replied, 'We will inform you. As for the first man you came upon whose head was being injured with the rock, he is the symbol of the one who studies the Quran and then neither recites it nor acts on its orders, and sleeps, neglecting the enjoined prayers. As for the man you came upon whose sides of mouth, nostrils and eyes were torn off from front to back, he is the symbol of the man who goes out of his house in the morning and tells so many lies that it spreads all over the world. And those naked men and women whom you saw in a construction resembling an oven, they are the adulterers and the adulteresses, and the man whom you saw swimming in the river and given a stone to swallow, is the eater of usury, riba, and the bad-looking man whom you saw near the fire kindling it and going round it, is Malik, the gatekeeper of hell, and the tall man whom you saw in the garden is Abraham, and the children around him are those children who die with al-Fitra, the Islamic faith." The narrator added, "Some Muslims asked the Prophet, 'O Allah's Apostle, what about the children of pagans?' The Prophet replied, 'And also the children of pagans.' The Prophet added, 'My two companions added, the men you saw half handsome and half ugly were those persons who had mixed an act that was good with another that was bad, but Allah forgave them.